Virginia, and we have about 1,100 or so North Carolinians who are relying upon work and going to the shipyard.
Well, there's a couple things we're trying to do to make our maintenance. The biggest thing for us is to get our ships out of maintenance on time and not have days of maintenance delay. So a couple ways to do that: shrink the package size, and it makes it more digestible and more likely that we can complete it on time. I also think, so helping those workers that work, come from North Carolina and work in the Hampton Roads area and our private shipyards that maintain our ships in Hampton Roads, that's part of that. Another part is being able to build modules outside.
Let me do something. I have 10 seconds left, and we can definitely follow back
Yes, sir.
up, and I
I'll follow up with
appreciate
you.
that. But I would like to say in closing here, I'm General Naviv. Have a son, Fort Benning right now, infantry. Week 5, OSET, so look forward to Family Day, and I just want to thank you for all the work that's happened, the recruiters, everything that's taken place, and we really appreciate what's taking place at Fort Benning. Just wanted to say
Thanks
that.
for your service.
And then I don't want to leave space out. We have a mission specialist that we're so proud of that just got back, and we've had great conversations about space, so I do look forward to continuing to make sure we do everything to maintain a steady readiness posture. And thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Yield back.
Okay, we're going to, if anyone who wants to participate in a second round of questioning, I think unless, Mr. Schmidt, do you have any desire to ask more questions? Okay, Don? Okay, so it'll just be Mr. Garamendi, and I will do the 5-minute clock one more time. I've just got a couple of quick questions here. And General Nave, as to the plight of the Army's ground vehicles, Army reduced the number of overhauls from 1,285 in fiscal year 2015 to just 12 overhauls in fiscal year 2024. What steps is the Army pursuing to arrest the overall decline in ground vehicle mission capability rates, and is an expanded overhaul workload in the organic industrial base part of this solution?
It absolutely is, sir. In the industrial base, we have to do it. We're also we have a great AMC commander that's doing a pinpoint a look at organizations, especially our ABCT fleet, that will get out and take a look at their OR rate and surge on them to try to get them up to a higher rate. This is a concern across all of our fleets, sir. Whether it's aviation or our track fleets or our wheeled fleets. Some of it has to do with the supply chain. Some of it has to do with the ability to be able to make our own parts to repair it. We just stood up a task force to take a hard look at the aviation readiness with myself and the under, taking this one on. We're going to have to do the same thing with our ground fleet to be able to get the readiness up. Now, there are organizations out there that are doing great. We just had a brigade that came out of NTC that came back to home station with an incredibly high readiness rate that they were able to work on while they were in the box there. So we know that there's work to be done, and we are committed to getting after it. But you're absolutely correct. Overhaul inside the industrial base is one of the ways.
Thank you. Finally, General Bratton. The Space Force relies on civilian experts for over 1/3 of its force, particularly within the acquisition community, which this is crucial to the speed to scale initiatives this committee prioritizes. However, in 2025 and 2026, the service faced nearly 14% reductions in civilian staff. How has the Space Force been able to maintain operational readiness with these reductions?
Hey, sir, thanks for the question. We lost about 350 civilians out of our acquisition workforce in 2025, and so we have the authorities now in place to rehire and hire beyond that number. And so right now we're getting after bringing back the civilian workforce. But in the meantime, we've also reprioritized our military assignment process in support of acquisition reform to make sure we have the acquirers in place as you consider the 27 budget, and we'll see where that goes, but that we got the workforce in place to be able to execute both the 26 program and then future programs as we go. So we're building on the military side and bringing back the civilian workforce, sir.
Okay. With that, I'm going to yield my my rest of my time and turn it over to the ranking member, Mr. Garamendi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It keeps coming back to where we're going to spend our effort, what is important. The hearing thus far has illuminated in each of your services the inability to maintain what we have. Many reasons for those, and this committee will get into the detail in the days ahead and in the NDAA to really force solutions. One of these things, the operational pace of the military in the last 16, 18 months has been extraordinary. We can lay out all of the programs. I'm not sure all of us will have a memory for each one of them, but how are you going to recover the readiness from the current operational pace that you have been under for the various deployments? The Middle East, 2 or 3, and of course the Iran war, Venezuela, on and on. Ships at sea. So let's go down through this. The Army, you've been talking about this, and I'll skip you. The Navy issue. You've got some real readiness questions that are out there because of the operational pace. What are you going to do about it?
We have a model. I wish Representative Jimenez had stayed around, because we have a 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 model. And what that means is 1/3 of our ships is generally in maintenance, 1/3 of our ships is getting ready to deploy in training and certification, and 1/3 is deployed. So that model exists. What we have to do is not perturb the model unnecessarily. So that means we have to get done those phases in the time allotted, or I create a pile jam, as you indicated in your opening statement. So recovering that means we've got to do, like, let's take the Ford, 6-month PIA. That's what she's supposed to get. I didn't plan to do this fire damage repair in that PIA. That's ongoing conversations I'm having now with Admiral Downey to make sure we can execute that in that time frame to allow that 1/3, 1/3 model to exist. So we've got to have a discipline to go execute that. And we certainly have to do work, and the Deputy Secretary of War is working hard at munitions acceleration, because we're using a lot of munitions, as you know. So the ability to kind of build back, make a long-term investment where a company is willing to facilitize because they realize that they have a long-term contract, and increase productivity beyond what we had. Those are a couple